The Senate will come to order. Senator Murphy.
Good morning, Mr. President. I impose a call of the Senate.
The Senate is now under call. Senator Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that further proceedings under the roll call be dispensed with and that the Sergeant of Arms be instructed to bring in the absent members.
On that motion, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Members, will you kindly stand? And members, the other day when we were going to say prayer and I was setting you up really well for us to do meditation and to reflect, then the chaplain came in, and remember, I had to make that change. But today, you are going to have an opportunity to meditate and center yourself and think about your family and think about your loved ones and just whisper a prayer if that's what you want to do. So I would ask now that you take a moment to pause in silent prayer and reflection, and following that silent prayer and reflection, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, members. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much, and the Secretary will take the roll.
Abler, Anderson, Barr, Bolden, Carlson, Champion, Coleman, Swadzinski, Dames, Dibble, Dornick, Draheim, Drazkowski, Duckworth, Diedzik, Eichhorn, Farnsworth, Fateh, Frentz, Green, Grunhagen, Gustafson, Hochschild, Herr, Hoffman, Housley, Howe, Jasinski, Johnson, Klein, Coran, Kroon, Kunish, Kupek, Lang, Latz, Liskey, Limmer, Lucero, Mann, Marty, Matthews, May Quaid, McEwen, Miller, Mitchell, Mohammed, Morrison, Murphy, Nelson, Umuver Baton, Pappas, Pa, Port, Pratt, Putnam, Rarick, Rasmussen, Rest, Seeberger, Utke, Weber, Wiesenberg, Westland, Westrom, Wickland, Zhang.
Members, a quorum is present. Members, the following members intend to vote from a remote location pursuant to Rule 40.7. Bowden, Diedzik, and Hochschild. Members, if you want to follow along with today's agenda, I will read from today's agenda that is dated Wednesday, March 20th. We will begin at the second order of business, executive and official communications. The following communications was received. Please make note of, no action is required. We'll proceed to the third order of business, messages from the House. The Secretary will read the message.
Mr. President, I have the honor to announce the passage by the House of the following House files herewith transmitted. House file numbers 3613 and 3769. Signed, Patrick D. Murphy, Chief Clerk, House of Representatives.
Members, remember, no action is required. We'll now proceed to the fourth order of business, which is the first reading of House bills. The House files have been given their first reading and referred as indicated. Members, we'll now proceed to the fifth order of business, which is reports of committees. Senator Murphy for a motion.
Mr. President, I move the committee reports printed in the agenda and the addendum be adopted.
On that motion, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Members, we'll now proceed to the sixth order of business, second reading of Senate bills. The Secretary will read the Senate file number.
Senate file number 3748.
The Senate file has been given its second reading. Members, will now proceed to the seventh order of business, which is a second reading of House bills. The Secretary will read the House file numbers.
House file numbers 4483 and 4518.
The House files have been given their second reading. Members, we'll now proceed to the eighth order of business, which is the introduction of introduction and first reading of Senate bills. The bills listed on today's introduction calendar are given their first reading and referred as indicated. If you'll see, there's our two changes, members. Specifically on page 1, Senate file number 5084. That bill has been referred to the Committee on Health and Human Services. If you then proceed to page 6, members, you'll see Senate file number 5126. That bill has been referred to the Committee on Human Services. As I mentioned, members, the bills listed on today's introduction calendar are given their first reading and referred as indicated. Members, we will now proceed to the 9th order of business, which is motions and resolutions. We will adopt the author's motion as one motion. All in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Members, there are some individual motions that I will now recognize members. On my behalf, I'm calling Senator Murphy. Senator Murphy, for your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of Senator Champion, I move that Senate File 3994 be withdrawn from the Committee on State and Local Government and Veterans and be re-referred to the Committee on the Judiciary and Public Safety, and I know he has consulted with the authors.
Thank you so much, Senator Murphy. Senator Murphy, on behalf of Senator Champion, moved that Senate file number 3994 be withdrawn from the Committee on State and Local Governments and Veterans and re-referred to the Committee on Judiciary and Public Safety. On that motion, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate File 4362 be withdrawn from the Committee on Capital Investment and re-referred to the Committee on State and Local Government and Veterans. Thank you, Mr. President. This is a bill that from the department, the Veterans Service Department, and it involved both capital investment and veterans. And we'll take care of the capital investment part, but we need to send it to the State Government and Veterans Committee for them to take care of the policy part. And I've talked to both chairs, and they've approved it.
Thank you, Senator Pappas, for that explanation, and thank you. Senator Pappas moves that Senate file number 4362 be withdrawn from the Committee on Capital Investments and re-referred to the Committee on State and Local Governments and Veterans. On that motion, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Senator McEwen for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate File 4708 be withdrawn from the Committee on State and Local Government and Veterans and be re-referred to the Committee on Labor. This is my bill, and the chairs are in agreement.
Thank you, Senator McEwen. Senator McEwen moves that Senate file number 4708 be withdrawn from the Committee on State and Local Governments and Veterans and re-referred to the Committee on Labor. On that motion, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Senator Wickland.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate File 4912 be withdrawn from the Committee on Higher Education and be re-referred to the Committee on Health and Human Services. And this is, I have consulted with both the chairs.
Thank you, Senator Wickland. Senator Wickland moves that Senate file number 4912 be withdrawn from the Committee on Higher Education and re-referred to the Committee on Health and Human Services. On that motion, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Senator Wickland, you have another motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate File 4946 be withdrawn from the Committee on Commerce and Consumer Protection and be re-referred to the Committee on Health and Human Services, and I have consulted with both of the chairs.
Thank you, Senator Wickland. Senator Wickland moves that Senate file number 4946 be withdrawn from the Committee on Commerce and Consumer Protection and re-referred to the Committee on Health and Human Services. On that motion, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Senator Seeberger for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate File 5024 be withdrawn from the Committee on Education Policy and returned to its author.
Thank you, Senator Seeberger. Senator Seeberger moves that Senate file number 5024 be withdrawn from the Committee on Education Policy and be returned to the author. On that motion, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Members, we will now proceed to the 13th order of business. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I was just anxious myself, so sorry about that. We will now look at Senate Resolution number 83, be referred to the Committee on Rules and Administration, and there's no action that is required on that resolution movement. Now, we would go to the 13th order of business, announcements of Senate interest. Without objection, the following senators will be excused from today's session: Liskey, Wiesenberg, Bowden, Disick, and Hochschild. Any other announcements of Senate interest? Senator Hoffman. Sorry, I didn't see you there, Senator Hoffman.
Mr. President, I don't know how should I take that. I didn't see you, Mr. Hoffman. That's pretty good. It's like I was a drummer back in the 80s with you, just so you remember. Mr. Senator President and members, throughout the week you will be meeting advocates for older adults, the Alzheimer's and dementia and other aging services in support of bringing visibility to Minnesota seniors and their caregivers. I invite you to the first floor north corridor. That's just below the Other Bodies Chamber, where there are over 20 pieces of art that have been created by seniors for our enjoyment. This exhibit highlights the creativity of older adults and the vibrance of our senior communities across the state. These pieces of art are brought to us on behalf of the Long-Term Care Imperative and will be here all week for you to enjoy. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Hoffman, for that information. Any other announcements of Senate interest? I want to make sure that I don't miss anyone. Seeing no one standing other than our wonderful Majority Leader, Senator Murphy, for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate do now adjourn until Thursday, March 21st at 11 a.m.
On that motion, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. The Senate is now adjourned until Thursday.